A federal judge in Pennsylvania ruled in favor of the Trump administration Tuesday over its use of the Alien Enemies Act to deport some Venezuelan migrants. Trump-appointed Judge Stephanie Haynes said the president may use the 18th century wartime law to remove Venezuelans older than 14 who are accused Tren de Aragua gang members, but with a caveat. She ruled the administration must give 21 days notice to potential deportees if it invokes the act, rather than the 12 to 24 hours it had been given. Earlier this month, federal judges in New York, Colorado, and Texas ruled against the Trump administration's use of the act. They said the move is illegal because the government hasn't provided sufficient evidence of an invasion or predatory incursion required under the law. CBS News immigration and politics reporter Camilo Montoya-Galvez joins us now. So the judge here, in this case, Judge Haynes, found that the gang Tren de Aragua is committing a, quote, predatory incursion into the U.S. We mentioned other judges disagree with this. So where does she differ with these judges and what happens next?
Well, this is the first time that a federal judge, Lindsay, has found that the Trump administration had reasonable and sufficient legal grounds to invoke the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 to arrest, detain, and deport suspected members of Tren de Aragua. That is that Venezuelan prison gang. And the administration has been making this extraordinary argument in court that this transnational gang has been orchestrating an invasion or an incursion into the country. She said that, yes, this gang is, in her view, orchestrating an incursion into the country, and she mainly relied on the fact that the State Department has designated Tren de Aragua as a foreign terrorist group. And so she relied on that determination to find that this is an incursion by this gang and that the Trump administration can actually invoke this law to target them and to arrest and deport suspected members of this organization. But this ruling does not apply nationwide, and it does not allow the administration to continue using this law to deport people across the country.
Is it only her district?
Yes, in the Western District of Pennsylvania. And ultimately, this case will be decided by the Supreme Court, which is weighing this very same question. How much due process do people process under this law get, and whether the administration has satisfied the necessary legal requirements to invoke it in the first place.
On Tuesday, authorities in Dalton, Georgia, dropped traffic charges against Jimena Arias Cristobal. This is a 19-year-old Mexican-born college student arrested during a traffic stop last month, taken into ICE custody. You actually spoke with her. What did she tell you? What should we know about her case? Well,
she's still detained in ICE custody in Georgia, and she told me that she's not a criminal, that she should not be detained by ICE because she noted that the president has been talking about going after hard criminals and dangerous individuals who happen to be in the country illegally, not teenagers who are undocumented but are otherwise law-abiding residents of their communities. And she said that the administration should be focusing on those criminals, not people like her, despite the fact that the local authorities in that area in Georgia have dismissed the traffic violations that triggered her arrest by ICE. The Trump administration is now saying that the facts of this case have not changed from their perspective because she is being held pursuant to the fact that she is here without papers illegally, not because of the traffic violations technically. And the Department of Homeland Security told us in a statement, Lindsay, that they will continue to pursue deportation for her and her father, who is also detained in that same detention center, and that they will be returned to Mexico at some point.
Are they going to be fighting their deportation orders?
Yes, they will.
What can you tell us about the case of Kilmar Abrego Garcia?
Well, this is the man who, again, officials have said multiple times was mistakenly deported to El Salvador. He's still detained there at a lower-level security facility after being initially sent to Sacot, the maximum security prison. But now the lawyers for Kilmar Abrego Garcia are saying that the Justice Department, the Trump administration, is stonewalling their requests to gather evidence as to what actual efforts the government has been making to facilitate the return of this man, because that is, of course, the order from the judge in federal district court in Maryland to facilitate.
Supported by the Supreme Court.
That's right, upheld by the Supreme Court in a unanimous ruling. But the attorneys are saying that by invoking state secrets privileges and other types of secret information privileges, the Justice Department is basically deceiving the court and not providing forthcoming testimony as to the steps they're taking to actually facilitate the return of this man, despite talking about this case publicly pretty much every day. We see administration officials, including the president, refer to this case very frequently but they're not taking any actions that we know of to actually facilitate his return.
Is the judge going to make a ruling on this issue?
We don't know, but there's a hearing scheduled for Friday.
Thank you, Camilo Montoya-Galvez.